Hello gamers! Welcome to a preview of DCeased. That's right, this is a preview of DCeased, a Zombicide game by CMON Games and DC Comics. That's right, now you can play as your favorite DC comic heroes and also fight against their zombie counterparts, which are quite scary in a Zombicide game. CMON Games is known for their lineage of Zombicide games that are super fun and engaging and known for, you know it, 1 million zombie miniatures on the board that seem quite unstoppable when you're playing through the game. And they've taken it to the DC world where you are able to play as Batman fighting against the one and the only zombie Superman, which is quite terrifying. So with this preview, we are just going to jump right into it and I will show you how this game works. The Zombicide system has players playing on different map tiles where they're playing as different hero miniatures fighting against an onslaught of zombie miniatures. And in DCeased, that is definitely par for the course, where you are playing as different heroes that are known through the comic lore, fighting against not only regular zombies, but zombie heroes that are also from the comics. Now today I am showing off Hawkgirl, The Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman. However, there are other heroes that you are able to play as throughout the game, and there are other zombie heroes that you'll be fighting against. For example, in this game we have already encountered the Green Lantern, Catwoman, and Hawkman, but there are other ones to play through the game, such as Superman. Alright, and you are checking out this game in the middle of a battle. I started this through and I kind of sent Hawkgirl off on her own. For some reason we had a ton of brutes spawning and we have the majority of our heroes over here fighting it off with not a lot of health left. So I'll run through what Zombicide is like, but if this is any indication, it will show you that it is a free-for-all where there are many zombies that are basically coming to get you. They are quite bloodthirsty, and you are trying to make it through certain conditions for whatever scenario that you are playing as. So you're trying to do certain specific things and then escape by the end, and you are not really trying to take out all of the zombies. Now this is important to note because they will spawn round after round. There are all of these miniatures and things will happen even after they try to spawn and those miniatures aren't available. But you can see these huge hordes that are coming at us of brutes. So they are quite unstoppable. That the point of the game is more to go through the missions and go through what the scenario is asking of you, as opposed to trying to take out all of the zombies. Now, to do so, players are going to be going through 3 phases. There will be a player phase, an enemy phase, and then an end phase, and you'll recycle this until either the heroes lose or they're able to meet their victory conditions. Players are able to do quite a few actions on their turn, which makes them very dynamic, but one of the most important ones is move. Now, to move from one space to another will cost you 1 action point, and you are able to do that on your turn. Another thing you are able to do is attack, which is the thing you are probably going to be doing the most. Now, each hero has their own base attack that they start off with, so if I am looking at my Batman, he has martial arts. His range is 0, he's rolling 2 dice, and on a 3+, he will successfully hit the zombie. Now, just to show this example for you, let's put Batman over here with a zombie in this area and say he will use his martial arts. You would then roll 2 dice. We have a 4 and a 2, and 1 3+ is a success, which means we would successfully kill the zombie in our spot. When we do so, we would gain an experience point, which would make us more and more powerful as you get more abilities that are unlocked, the more experience points that you get. And it would also eliminate the threat from the board that there would be 1 less zombie for you to be worrying about. Now, as you can see on these player boards, there is this track where you're tracking your XP. So as I noted, you would get it for knocking out different types of zombies. There's a blue, yellow, orange, and then red area, which means that in the blue area, you're able to have access to your blue abilities. So for Batman, it's his Batarang, which is once during his turn, he can spend 1 power to eliminate 1 walker or runner within range 1. Which means if there was a runner down here within range 1 of him, as long as he had 1 power to spend in his power track here, he would be able to throw his Batarang and just whip this runner out and take him off the board. Now, once you're in the yellow area, you get an additional action that is clear across the board, that for every hero, when you are in the yellow area, you get an additional action. And then once you're in the orange area, you get an even better action. So, for example, we have Hawkgirl, and her additional action is, once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to move up to 2 zones, ignoring enemies into a zone containing enemies, then perform one free melee attack. Now that's really great for her because she's able to spend a power to both move and perform an attack for free, giving her basically 2 extra actions. Now it is kind of fun to note that there are these traits that people will be able to draw for their characters, and one of the traits has a ability that's very, very similar, which means that Hawkgirl has that innate ability with her. Now to go through the different things you can do on your turn, one of them is drawing these heroic traits. So you would draw a trait to your player board. As you can see, Batman has 2 equipped. The most you're able to have at one time is 2, but they do different things and basically add to your character. I really like the heroic traits. I think it adds a lot to the game, and it's something that I prefer to draw when I don't know what to do with an action. There are different things you can do that if you end up going up to a door and opening it, you might have zombies spawn toward you. So I like doing the safe thing and gaining a heroic trait to try to buff up for future turns, because I really like feeling powerful, and the traits definitely help buff your character above what they already have going on. Now finally, there is a red ability. It is for every character, but it is very rare to get at 43 experience points, but we're just going to read the flashes for fun. At the start of the round, you may spend 2 power to place yourself in any zone on the board to which you have an open path. This is not counted as movement for momentum punch. So that means literally, my little flash could be here, here, anywhere in here, anywhere in here. He could actually go through this room up to here. He could go all around there. That's pretty insane, but it would take him 43 experience to get there, which is a lot of zombie kills and a few other things that will give you experience, but that would be very tricky to do so. Now, the few other things that you're able to do on your turn is that there are going to be bystanders that you are able to rescue, and there are also equipment that you're able to collect. So if you're able to see these orange guys, this is our Jimmy Olsen, and we have Lana Lang over here. And they are bystanders that you are able to collect, and usually you are trying to save their lives. They do usually add something fun, which is an extra boon to the character that is holding them and escorting them to the exit. But pretty much you are trying to make sure that they survive and make it through to the exit before they can be killed, because they are a target as well to the zombies. Now, looking at our zombies, I did mention a few different types, but let's go over them. There are your regular walkers. These guys aren't too bad, they're not too scary, but they do tend to show up in groups, and they have 1 health and move 1. They're the most basic zombie, but again, they do show up in a lot of them. As you can see, we have 8 over here, so they do show up in very big groups. We also have our runners. Runners are similar to our walkers, where they only have 1 health, but they have 2 actions. So they will either run twice. For example, we have some runners here. These ones would not run twice. If they were here, they would run twice onto Hawkgirl's spot. But since they activate twice and she is only 1 away, they would move into her spot. Oop, whoops! They would move into her spot and then attack, and, she wouldn't be doing so well because she only has 3 health. She does have a card, which is why I was playing through this game, and I left her like that because she does have a card, which is one of her abilities. Oh, maybe I used it. Uh-oh, she might actually be in trouble. Or maybe I did it and now I'm at the spot where they wouldn't be spawning right now. But she had a card, it may be here, yes. Hold them back, which is one of the abilities that she drew, and it said discard to spend 1 power when horde zombies would move into your zone to prevent enemies from moving into your zone. Which means basically she was able to hold them back for a turn so that she can move in and attack, and trust me, Hawkgirl is so powerful. She is one of my favorites from the game that I absolutely loved playing with her. I've played this both as 4 characters and 2 characters, and I think she's pretty fantastic. But enough swooning about her, let's move on to the other zombie types. There are also brutes. Brutes will only move 1, however they have 2 health. You'll need 2 successes to kill them, and damage does not roll over in Zombicide, so you will need to hit them for 2 damage right away, or else your attack will not be able to kill them. There are also zombie heroes, and these are the guys that are super scary to be fighting against. Here's our Superman, and they all have different rules on which they operate. So again, when you attack these, you have to do all of the damage at once to take them out. But for example, we have our Green Lantern over here that is in play. He has 4 health, and his ability is that he can attack from range 1. His zone cannot be targeted by attacks from outside his zone, which means you need to move up to attack him, but he can also attack you from range. And we also have Catwoman, who is here hanging out with all of our heroes, including Batman, and her ability is that If her zone is attacked and she is not eliminated, if the attacker is also in her zone, they suffer 1 wound. So she will cast Scratch back to you if you do not take her out, but she has 3 health as opposed to Green Lantern's 4, so you can see the variation in the different types of zombie heroes that you'll be fighting against. Now, throughout their turn, players will be using these actions along with a few others to work toward the end goal of the game. Another thing that they're able to do is when the game starts, all doors will be closed, so zombies won't have spawned yet, and it will take you an action to break down a door, which means if you are here and this door is not open yet, when you break it down, because of this exclamation point symbol, you will draw a zombie spawn card and spawn zombies into this room before you are able to proceed. Another action that you're able to do is power up. This is for DCeased, but they have this power up track where you are able to spend power points for different things. A lot of it is on your player board, however there are some heroic traits that will allow you to spend power as well, but it is tracked right here. So you can spend an action to power up for 2 and gain 2 power, and then you are able to spend it to buff your different powers that you're doing, or you can also spend it to roll additional dice. So for the Flash, where he has 2 additional right now, I could spend 2 to roll 2 additional dice, making his rapid punches an attack of 5 dice instead. Now, those are the actions that the players will be taking, and then the enemy phase will start. The enemy phase is, of course, the most terrifying phase, and that is when the zombies are going to be attacking you. Now, they will activate first any zombies that are on the board, and then you will spawn for each activation point. So, for example, in this situation, Catwoman, because she is a hero, she would be able to have 2 activations on the spot, probably attacking and taking out a lot of our heroes. All of these brutes, plus Aquaman, or not Aquaman, sorry, Green Lantern, would move into this spot. Even if no one survived, they would, because they would be pathing towards the next heroes, and they would go the closest way to Hawk Girl, which may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see it would be the same either way. So I guess we could choose to split them, but we would not do that. So all of these guys would move in as well. And then for the runners, they would get the 2 activations, as I said. So they would be able to move in and then attack Hawkgirl. These brutes would move forward 1, and these walkers would all move forward 1. Now that is how these zombies would behave. And then you would draw cards to spawn the zombies. Now the zombies are scaled based on how well you're doing in the game, which is, again, a very fun mechanic, where, as I said, you will be gaining experience on these different tracks, and you will be getting more and more abilities as you do so, but it cannot be good without the bad. So when you are drawing a zombie spawn card, you will flip it over, and you will spawn zombies based on the highest level of the highest level hero. So for example, right now my highest level is orange, which means I would be spawning 6 walkers in this activation point over here. So let's just give you an example of how crazy the board would look, but there's 4, 5, 6. I did not yet have this activation point unlocked, but let's just say for fun that we did, just to show you guys how many we would unlock. This is Charging Slam. All brutes perform 1 move action. Then each brute pushes 1 bystander or superhero in their zone into the zone within range 1 of most enemies. I am going to skip that. That's an example just to show you what would happen. But for the sake of showing you how to spawn the board, I am going to skip this card. So the next one would be Walker Rush, spawn then activate. Now when this happens, it's for the specific walkers that are spawned. So we would be spawning a 7 up in our green location. Let's see, we got 4. 5, 6, 7. So they would spawn, but they would also get to activate. Now when zombies are looking for heroes to attack, first they go by line of sight, and then they will go by the closest. There's no one within line of sight of these 2 corners, so the closest would be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they'll move toward this cluster again, and because the space is the same, I could have them go here or here. We'll have them go this way, and they will move forward, and that is their activation. Now we will also spawn for this spawn point down here. Flip this over, and it is 5 brutes. Now this is kind of fun because they spawn and then activate, but I also do not have 5 brutes to place on the board. So what would happen in that situation is that I would spawn all of the brutes that I'm able to. They would then use their activate that they're able to do, and then because I ran out of minis, I would have all brutes activate again. Now, this area is definitely dead, but again, for the sake of the example, if they weren't, these brutes would move forward, and these brutes would move forward as well. And it would be pretty scary for the heroes at this point, but I'm sure they would be dead and you would be resetting, so that's how it would go. Now, that is the majority of the things that are going on in Zombicide. However, there are 2 different things that are also in this scenario. Again, this is a specific scenario, so there are things that I am looking to do. It was saving Martha Kent and a certain number of bystanders, so I would have to go to different rooms finding the bystanders and escaping with them. But there are also these different things that are in the terrain that will help me along the way. So I have a phone booth and a light post, and here is the phone booth. As you walk by, you are able to use it and use this as an item. And for example, the card says it has a range within 0 to 1, so it gives you a ranged attack if you don't already have one. It does not tell you yet how many dice to roll, because I'll get to that in a second, but your successes would be on a 4+. And you roll 1 die for each horde zombie in the target zone. Ignore zombie heroes for this attack. Then roll a die. On a 1 to 2, place the phone booth token in the target zone. On a 3+, discard the token. So in this area, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brutes. The 2 heroes would not count, but you would be rolling 8 dice if you were able to throw the phone booth into this area. So those different items can be very helpful, however, they do break. So it will be very important to decide when you decide to use to play it, and if you should use it for future turns, or if you should just use it in the beginning to have a quick advantage. And then it would be the end phase, where you would do any end phase steps. And then at the beginning of the next round, all of the heroes would flip over their activation tokens, so you would know who hasn't gone yet. They would all gain 1 power, so they were able to play that for future turns. Players would then start the cycle again, deciding who would go first and what you would do in the situation, reacting to how things have changed and what zombies have spawned. Overall, DCeased can feel quite overwhelming, as many zombie games do, which I think is done so well that you feel both powerful as an individual hero and you feel like you are contributing and able to help save everybody as much as possible, but it also feels overwhelming with how many zombies are spawning, and when the other zombie heroes show up, you feel like you're making it, and then all of a sudden Superman comes to stop you and you're not sure if you are going to make it. This is one of the games where you might lose because it is co-op, and there is definitely potential to be eaten alive by zombies, but I think that's part of the fun, where losing is just an opportunity to learn and try again. As a reminder, this is a paid preview by CMON Games, and this project is currently on Kickstarter. This is a prototype version. All of the miniatures are prototypes. However, I think they give you a great sense of what the DCeased universe will look like and what it's like to fight against the different zombies that will spawn against you. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this preview. I will see you around on the Board Game Coach channel, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!